This is the Great Basin Seasonal Outlook, August through November 2021. Looking at some of the things that are the components into making the seasonal outlook. Last week's temperatures and precipitation, and on the left, temperatures about 2 to 4 degrees above normal most areas, even some pockets of 6 degrees or more in the red here in parts of Idaho. Precipitation on the right-hand side since July 1st with the monsoon. You can see how much moisture is pushed up here. We had about 2 to 400% of normal precipitation. That makes up for the monsoon years of the past couple. Also, that moisture extended into a good portion of southern and eastern Nevada, and even started to push up into parts of central Idaho, south central anyway. This was about a day old, so there is actually more moisture up here in the north now. Again, a bigger look at that monsoonal push, a large portion of it through here, through Arizona and into southern Nevada, definitely moistening things up in the south. Current large fire activity, you can see that here in the mountains of central Idaho, we are in the southern periphery of this major outbreak that we've had in the northern Rockies into parts of the Pacific Northwest. A lot of these fires will be getting moisture as we speak and into the early part of August. Now, the soil moisture, it's two different tales. It still is above normal here in parts of Utah and parts of Idaho, but moistening up in the south, but it's not nearly as dry as it was a month ago. If we look at the difference of soil moisture from June 30th to July 31st, you can see how much of an increase we've actually had in some of that soil moisture from the recent monsoonal rains that we've gotten and showers, and probably they'll continue to sink into the soil in the next couple of days, but definitely dramatic the further south you go. So a little bit of a respite. Our 10-hour fuels have been moderated quite a bit with the surface higher humidity and moisture, especially up here in Idaho, above 25% through there. And everyone right now is not really carrying anything that would be critical in terms of finer fuels or grass carrying fires, except maybe right along the Sierra front. Those areas still on the dry side. Sierra front, probably our only dry area here with fuels in the 100-hour class between the 6 and 10%, but otherwise moistening up quite a bit across northeast Nevada into central Idaho, above 20% on the 100-hour fuel. That's significant. It's going to get more moist actually the next day or two. There's another day and a half of rains up there and in western Wyoming. So definitely a good moistening in the north, but 1,000 hours, the heavy fuels, takes a lot more to moisten those up, and still in the single digits across much of northwest northern Nevada, parts of southern Idaho, even up here in parts of the Salmon Chalice, still 6 to 10%. So once the 100-hour fuels and 10 hours dry out, which could happen in a 5 to 10 day period, everything could be aligned again to be fairly critical. Let's look at our northern areas. An interesting tale, we go to our far northwestern areas of the Payette. You can see where the ERCs, just before the rains hit, late on the night of July 31st, they were the last to receive the rain. Their ERCs were at record levels and well above normal towards the 97th percentile. But you go just a bit further east into the mountains of central Idaho, more in the Salmon Chalice territory, and you can see where a day or two of rain has already brought them back from record levels to near normal. And you go a bit further towards the higher elevations of eastern Idaho along the Wyoming border, and those ERCs have dropped off precipitously back down to levels not seen since the end of May. So this trend is probably going to spread into the Salmon Chalice and maybe even to the Payette. So look for more moistening through here in the coming days, but this is part of our thought process for the outlooks. Conversely, down south, a very robust monsoon, Spring Mountains of southern Nevada, way down at levels not seen since mid-March. Down there, a similar story for the Dixie National Forest. They normally, you see the gray normal zone where it normally drops off to non-critical levels. They are well below that, and we'll still see a bit more moisture in the next day or two before the drying ensues. And similar things for southeast Utah, fuels well below even their normal monsoonal descent, levels not seen again since sometime in March. So for those areas, definitely not worried in the south. Our herbaceous fuel component, pounds per acre, because of the dry winter and spring, definitely lower pounds per acre through most of our areas through here. Hard to find any place that is really exceeding that. Now, the evaporative demand drought index, sometimes referred to as a flash drought, it works in two ways. It can show flash drought conditions or flash moistening. You can see the moistening trend that we have come working out from the south, and a lot of the dry areas up in Idaho also have leveled off a little bit. Even the slower moving drought monitor has shown some improvement in the south. You can see where we were here on the right-hand side in that exceptional drought category. And now you see things moderating here as of July 27th, definitely improving a category. We did degrade back in Idaho over here, get a little bit drier because of the warm July, but moisture moving to there probably will have an effect in the coming week when we get new values. So we continue further onwards. Now we look at field conditions, and these are ERCs. And this was July 27th. I want to show you what's been going on. We're in a state of flux here, going towards the end of July into early August. Obviously moistening up here below the 50th percentile in these green areas, but in the 80th and 90th, even 96th percentile in Idaho, and towards the 97th percentile in some parts of western Wyoming. And this is just before the monsoonal moisture surge arrived. And this was the guidance predicted moisture 7-day total that was going to be from July 28th to August 4th, the strongest monsoonal surge seen in Idaho in a decade or two, and also into adjacent Wyoming, because normally the monsoon really has a tough time getting above the Idaho border, and it usually will clip the southeastern section and rotate into Wyoming, but to push up into McCall and points further north and west, very unusual. But these purple areas you see here, that's 1.5 inches to approaching 2-inch rain amounts. And so even these lighter blue shades are 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain. And this is over a couple of days. And we have just widespread precipitation. It's centered right on the Great Basin. So you go towards the Pacific Northwest or Northern Rockies, and it peters out quite quickly, but centering on us. So this was the forecasted precipitation. And we see already by July 31st how much those ERCs have fallen already with that rain up in the northern sections, and the only section still staying dry temporarily up in the Payette, the far northern Salmon Chalice, but those areas receiving precipitation on August 1st into August 2nd will also see a brief modification as well. The further east you go across the northern mountains, the deeper the moisture and the more the rain is expected to play a role. Climatic signals, what we have going on is basically a neutral pattern for the most part going through the next couple of months. Some models suggesting maybe a slight dip into La Nina towards the start of the winter season or late fall. But I would say at this point, the next 2-3 months, kind of inconsequential for us. So let's start with the 8 to 14-day outlook. Near normal temperatures, maybe a little bit warmer than normal in the south. We will see a drying trend from August 8th to the 14th. It'll still be kind of unsettled, not more on the moist side the first couple of days of August, but then getting back to a drying signal. That's going to play a role in our forecast. The entire monthly outlook for August continues to show warmer than normal temperatures and near normal precipitation, except wetter than normal, again, across our southern periphery, across southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, maybe far, far southern Utah, but those places already deep in the moisture. The 3-month outlook, September through November, continued above normal temperatures and below normal precipitation chances, maybe equal chances or near normal into Idaho. And normal for September, October, November is to get a wetting front coming through once every 5 to 10 days. So there could be leveling things through there. Predictive Services also issues a similar temperature and precipitation outlook. You can see the temperatures here, August, September, above normal. Precipitation, the monsoon comes in with above normal in the south, drier than normal in the north, drier everywhere in September and even into October before some wetness comes into the north later on. So we put all these pieces together, and this is our outlook for August. Now, we've pared back our above normal that we had for a good portion of Idaho, especially the further east you go, the more days of precipitation they had. But up in where we saw some of those drier fuels up in the Payette and far western Idaho, by mid-month, they can bounce back pretty quick, as well as adjacent areas of northwestern Nevada and the Sierra Front also, which will be into the warming and drying most quickly in August. by middle of the month, we could be back to very critical conditions. Conversely, down in the south with one of the healthiest monsoon surges in years, we expect below normal chances through there. Continued monsoonal conditions in years past. During our unofficial monsoons, we've had fires busting out across southern Nevada and parts of southern Utah into August. That is not expected to be the case this year. Very other than typical monsoonal single tree torching, a quarter acre type thing, but large fire potential looks as minimal as we've seen it in many years. Now, for September, we do expand our above normal a little bit across, at least into central Idaho. We're going to be very cautious about taking it further east because these places got wetter, and it's not out of the question to get a little wetting front every now and then. Otherwise, northwest Nevada, Sierra front still under the gun. We've brought these areas in the south back to normal, and believe it or not, we could get a rapidly developing grass crop of maybe a foot or more high by the end of August, and we get hot and dry like the models are predicting, that grass could cure out very quickly in a week or two, and we could be getting what they were lacking early in the year, and that would be a little carpet of fine fuels across the south. So would not be surprising in September if we stay dry, get that new grass cure out, and get some kind of grass fires that could be problematic down in the south. Otherwise, October and November becomes much murkier. Obviously, the nights get longer. We do get some wetting fronts coming through typically at that time of year. So we'll keep it at normal for now and just evaluate it as we get closer to that. Looking at the national scale, this is what our outlooks look like. The above normal borders what Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies have. The below normal kind of mirrors what is down in Arizona and New Mexico. And this is the national look for September and October and November. And this concludes our seasonal outlook. Have a great day.